One-foot-flipper.
Hi, Paige here, the 1-foot-flipper. It's Thursday morning, June 1st, 2023. Although, hopefully this video is for the ages and not just for today. I'm feeling pretty good because this morning eBay settled a case in my favor. Somebody had bought a trading card and then 3 weeks after it was delivered, opened a case and said they didn't get it. Did they get it? I have no idea whether they got it or not. They might have also lost it in the junk mail, thrown it away. Who knows? But three weeks later, and I told them that eBay's got to decide these cases, that's how it works. And they escalated to customer service, and customer service immediately closed it in my favor. So that's got me feeling pretty good. And I'm still trying to shrink my store. Every day I usually have about 2 giant bags this big leaving the house. And, well, I'm not going to say nothing coming in because I've still got a bunch of stuff in the van. But nothing's coming into the van at least, so that's good. Today we're going to talk about two of very important people, I think, in reselling and learning to resell, which is Daily Refinement and Technsports. Now, the picture I'm using here of Technsports is an artist recreation because he never shows himself, so I just put the picture of the person that I think he sounds like the most up there. Now, the first YouTuber I ever watched related to eBay selling was Chris Daily Refinement. I had already been professionally selling for years before I even discovered eBay YouTube. And I only discovered him because somebody started a thread on the eBay message boards about him getting banned from eBay. And that is when I started watching his channel. After his suspension, so after he technically wasn't selling on eBay anymore. And in this video, we're going to go over 8 things that you probably should know about Technsports and Daily Refinement. The first thing is that Chris, he lives in the alternate reality of the San Francisco Bay Area, so you have to filter everything he says and talks about, all his numbers, through that alternate reality. That reality is not the real world to the other 98% of Americans. You don't have 15 Goodwill bins right by your house that are all filled with high-end clothing and name brand items all day long. It's not like that really anywhere else. And you'll hear other things like income totals he thinks that you need to have to live a decent life will also be completely skewed out of whack because he lives in one of the most expensive places to live in America. You know, that 100K income he talks about, that's 60K in the Midwest, possibly even less. So don't get hung up on his exact numbers that he thinks that you should hit or need to hit, or how good of items that you should be able to find, because those same things are not in your Goodwill in Tennessee. They're not there. All right, let's look at the sale. Sold this Polaroid land camera here. Real cool thing with a case. Giant camera. Look, and it pops. If I can figure out how to do it. It opens up. This comes way out. It is awesome looking. And I sold this for only $24. Now I'm having trouble getting it back shut again. Well, I'll figure that out later. But I only paid $5 for it, so it is a definite profit. I'm going to have to go set this down someplace because I can't get it out of the way. I don't know or think that film is even available for that thing anymore, so it's probably just a collector's item. I had no way to test it. I just said that physically everything seems to be in good order on it. And it sold. All right, Second thing you should know about these guys is that the podcast is the absolute best content on Daily Refinement's channel. That's where you get tech and sports, and also, since there's no video aspect to it, you can listen to that while you work and pick up all kinds of nuggets of information without ever having to look at the screen. That is the most valuable content they have out there. Now, they only let you listen to half of it without a subscription, but I think the free half is good enough. And I'm sure you could pay for the subscription and hear the other half, and maybe that's better. I don't know if they saved the better stuff for the second half. No idea there. But if you're only going to catch one part of Daily Refinement, listen to the podcasts. I sold $56.11 worth of Wargaming sprues, 3 transactions, 2 customers. Remember, I was going to throw that bag of stuff away, and it's already netted me $1,000 in sales so far. Not bad. Now, what Daily Refinement, Tech and Sports say is only going to be 100% applicable if you're a clothing seller. They are both specialists in clothing, which I believe is one of the hardest categories on eBay, but it's also one of the easiest categories to ramp up super big in, because clothing is just so available. But you've got to filter everything they say through the fact that those 2 guys only sell clothes. They might have sold other things in the past, but they are giving you their knowledge from a strictly clothing seller's advice. They try to give universal knowledge, but some of those things that they say just aren't universal, and they really apply mostly to clothing sellers. Sold a CD. Playing It Cool, Timothy Smith, $8.96. I got a bunch of CDs for nearly free not too long ago. Scanned them all. Took the ones that were sellable as singles, listed those, lotted the rest of them up. Not bad. I don't really like media all that well because I feel like media is in decline, but I still sell it when it makes money. Fourth thing you should know is that both Chris and Tech at this point have other people basically doing all the work. Which, this is important because at that point, we've got somebody else doing the work. They only need to earn more than, the expenses and more than their salary to make it profitable for Chris or Tech to make money. I know Chris says he pays his people $20 an hour. I don't know what Tech and Sports pays his people. I think he's in Florida, so it's probably less than Chris. But either way, that employee at that point, for them to earn money, doesn't... I want to earn more than $20 an hour. I shoot for 30 or even 40, which is a little aspirational for me because I am slower than everybody else because of the whole wheelchair and one leg thing. But that person only needs to earn more than their salary for Chris and Tech to put money into their pockets. So their business model is heavily dependent upon having employees. And it's also heavily dependent on having other people bring them items, because Chris and Tech and Sports are not out hitting the thrift stores every single day like they used to. They have people bringing them stuff. Now, Chris always says that he gives 1099s to all of his sources, and I'm not going to call him a liar, but I severely doubt it, because the sort of people who would do that sort of work, go and find all the good things and then sell it to Chris, are specifically doing it because they want to earn that money off the radar, and they don't want to pay taxes on it. And I just know from personal conversations from other business people that actually issuing those forms to your suppliers is insanely rare and just generally doesn't tend to happen, particularly for cash transactions. All right, what else did I sell? I sold some catcher gear. Youth vest and shin guards, $22.49. I didn't even clean them. I put in the listing that I didn't clean them. I said I figured there was no point to it because they're going to look exactly... They're just going to get dirty again at the very first practice, and then I just wasted my time cleaning them and would have had to charge you more for me to clean them, so I didn't clean them. And that looks like it would be huge and hard to ship, but it's not. Those only weigh about 2 pounds. Fifth thing you should know is their mentor group. I don't think it's probably worth your money or time, because when they show the videos of it, it seems to be mostly newbie or possibly hopeless resellers asking very basic questions. I have seldom brought anything away from those videos at all. I mean, I guess it's useful if you feel you have to ask those questions to somebody and you're not going to look them up on your own, but I wouldn't suggest their mentor group unless you really need somebody to hold your hand. Hey, I sold another CD, The Grassroots 14 Greatest Hits, $2.99, just above bulk level there. Now, the general knowledge, sixth thing, that you're going to get from Daily Refinement, Tech and Sports is great. You want to move your items. You don't have to try to get all of the money out of the item. It's okay to just get some of the money. It is much better to flip that same spot in inventory 20 times, make it a $10 profit, rather than holding out and only flipping that inventory spot one time for a $50 profit instead. Would you rather make $200 or would you rather make $50? I'd rather make $200. And that alone, those ideas transformed my reselling business completely. It got me out of sourcing bad items. It got me out of low profit areas, because it'll also tell you to time what you do, improve your processes, think of everything as a business. Don't be attached to your cool items. Make the business part all about business. And that basically doubled my sales in a month. You know, that is just absolutely transformative. Hey, I sold this Steely Dan LP, $14.99. Steely Dan seems to always sell pretty well. I don't even think I could tell you a single Steely Dan song. I'm sure somebody will put something in the comments that everybody knows, but overall as a group, seems to sell very well. Now, the seventh thing you should know is their heavy focus on item specifics and the eBay algorithm is more or less important depending on how easy it is to find your item. If you tend to sell items that have very specific names and are easy to search for, then the eBay algorithm is not very important, nor are item specifics. I mean, if you're selling CDs, the person gets everything they want to know in the title. Grassroots, 14 Greatest Hits, CD. None of those item specifics are going to matter to 99% of customers. However, the harder and harder it is to search for your item, the more important those item specifics and the eBay algorithm is. And I probably think it's absolutely the most important in clothes, both because clothes is the category that is the most saturated category on eBay, and because people are not usually looking for an extremely specific item of clothing. They're browsing, they're looking for certain things, they're going to go and they're specifically going to want to look for, I want a 2XL shirt between $20 and $25, whatever, and they're going to search very specifically, so you're going to want to rank high, and their information telling you how to do that and what to do with your item specifics and all of that are very important. Not so important if you were, say, selling this Aristocrat G-Gauge Signal Bridge, which I sold for $89.99. The item specifics aren't important on this at all. The person who buys this, everything they need to know is in the title. The last thing I'm going to say that you need to know about Daily Refinement and Tech and Sports is that you're probably just eventually going to graduate out of Daily Refinement's channel or their podcast, as they basically just say the same thing every single episode. And at this point, Chris hasn't sold on eBay in a year. His eBay knowledge, while not wrong, it is starting to get stale. He's a 100% Whatnot and Poshmark seller now, so it's not going to be so eBay focused. You're probably going to get more out of the older episodes as you are going to get out of the newer ones. But I found, even though I love the guys, eventually they just don't seem to have much to offer me anymore. I go in and catch a podcast once every couple of weeks. But that's about it. I learned about everything I can from them. But it was definitely worth it, and you should probably check them out. All right. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon.